inflation.
Are you saying more spending is the answer?
I'm saying more investment is the answer. More investment,
in production.
Is spending,
right?
Gas prices, along with all these other categories, are still unacceptably elevated. And that's why we need more policy.
What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and the White House is saying that they want more to deal with this inflation. We're going to be sending out more stimulus, more provisions, more help. Let me know your thoughts. Is this going to be helping or hurting? I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, you're not going to want to miss this video footage. Things get a little bit heated. As you know, a lot of people are not happy right now with the response from the president. And if you missed it, here is the official press release from the White House. Came out yesterday. President Biden's statement on CPI inflation in June. While today's headlines inflation reading is unacceptably high, it is also out of date. Energy alone comprised nearly half of the monthly increase in inflation. Today's data does not reflect the full impact of nearly 30 days of decreases in gas prices that have reduced the price at the pump by about 40 cents since mid-June. Those savings are providing important breathing room for American families, and other commodities like wheat have fallen sharply since the report as well, saying, listen, it's getting better. We hit the peak. It's not as bad as you think, and a lot of people are not buying it, but we're also hearing from President Joe Biden and the White House that more is on the way. I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage so you can hear it for yourself, and they're going to be saying that we don't need unemployment checks anymore, but other checks could be a possibility, or other things that are going to help supply chain issues. They're saying these need to come. They are on the way, and we're hearing all of this is likely going to be happening very soon, right before these midterm elections, like we mentioned, so that way they're fresh in the minds of voters. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. We're going to watch this video footage. Before we dive in, though, if you can do me a quick favor, if you appreciate the updates, smash the like button for me. Just takes a second. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to stay up to date, it's free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. I'll let you know everything as it unfolds. All you got to do is very quickly hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. New videos coming out every single day at noon. Short videos, 60 seconds. To give you tidbits of information to help you out with everything that's unfolding with our economy right now. I also released a video on that channel just a couple days ago on the state of the real estate market and a potential housing market crash right now in 2022 that we're hearing about. I give you all the data in that video. Go check it out if you missed it. And also coming your way, a comprehensive list of all the checks available in the nation on every single level, because there's not just the federal level checks. There's also state, city, and county checks. Some are available right now and people don't realize it, and they're missing out because they're only available for limited amounts of time, and in many cases you have to apply. I'm going to make sure that you don't miss out on them. Here on the Steve Ram channel, I'm going to make sure that you know about everything, so keep an eye out for that comprehensive list coming out here very soon. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right into this video footage. And like I said, you're going to want to stick around. Things get heated at the end with everything that's unfolding, what the White House has planned for our economy. Let's go ahead and take a look.
You know, the last time we had inflation numbers like these, the Federal Reserve was raising interest rates about a full percentage point at a time. Growing talk, it's going to have to up the ante to do so again. Jared Bernstein, the White House economic advisor, with us now. Jared, are you worried about that? That it will have to require the Fed to dramatically raise rates now?
Well, the Fed is already raising rates in an appropriately aggressive manner. I mean, when President Biden renominated Chair Powell to the Fed, he has since, of course, been reappointed, and many others on that slate are now over there on the Fed board. He has full faith in that pivot that they're engaged in. And by the way, those of us who have looked at monetary history know that it's actually kind of unusual for a president to be so supportive of a Fed in a rate hiking cycle like this one.
I don't know about that, Jared. Jimmy Carter was fully supportive of Paul Volcker, had complete faith in him. Of course, Paul Volcker's aggressive rate increases ultimately did help the economy and did get inflation under control, but it also contributed to Jimmy Carter's defeat, right?
Yeah, so anyway, that's a great point, and you're very correct about that. I was thinking more about Richard Nixon and Arthur Burns and some others who were pressuring back then. And I think the point is that the president has consistently leaned into the Fed as the first and foremost inflation fighter. So simple answer to your question, their pivot in this regard is welcome and very much understood as part of the solution to this problem.
All right, and the Fed, like your boss, the president, and your administration, missed it on the severity of this inflation, that it would be transitory. It turned out that it was not. I know it is what it is, but what can you do now? Is it all up to the Fed?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what we can do and what we are doing. No, it's not all up to the Fed. They obviously are implementing their interest rate tools, quantitative tightening tools, but we have a lot we can do and are doing. So one thing that's not in today's report is the decline in prices at the pump. Prices at the pump are now down 40 cents off their peak from mid-June to today. And you don't see that in the June report. That's an 8% decline in gas prices. That'll show up in the July report. That directly relates to some of the supply measures this president has authorized, particularly the release of 240 million barrels of oil released from the strategic reserve. Now, we talked about that a while ago.
That's very true. That's very true, Jared. But I mean, even taking out food and energy prices and looking at the core inflation report, it was still running at about a 5.9% clip, which is also in and out of about a 40-year high. So I'm wondering, with or without gas in the picture, I mean, are you clinging to something that could be short-lived anyway? And the inflation problem is now broad-based, way beyond.
Well, let me
gasoline.
get to the core. Let me get to the core in a second, because I agree with you. It is much too highly elevated as well. Unacceptably high was the words the president used this morning. But I just want to be clear that on the strategic reserve, we talked about that weeks, if not months ago. That's actively in play right now. That is, every day 1 million barrels are coming into the market. Now, it's 100 million barrels a day in a global market, but 1% on the margin in a tightly supplied commodity like this makes a difference. Okay, the core. Here is where we really need Congress to work with us. The kinds of budgetary pressures that households face in the core, prescription drugs, utility bills, health insurance premiums, vehicles, by the way, where Congress could act tomorrow on the CHIPS bill, something that the Senate supported in a bipartisan manner a while ago. I mean, they all agree on the importance of domestic microprocessor production.
Are you saying more spending is the answer?
I'm saying more investment is the answer. More investment, in production.
Is spending, right? And that might or might not be the solution, but past spending efforts have not really helped this. It's actually worsened it, right?
You raise a really important distinction, and I appreciate your doing so, because there is a big difference between sending checks to households, whether they're the emergency checks from the rescue plan or whether they're unemployment checks, which you don't need as much of when you have 3.6% unemployment, and investing in chip production, investing in child and elder care, investing in our nation's infrastructure. All of those improve the economy's supply side, and that's a plus for taking down inflation.
I'll leave it to academic history to show that it doesn't pan out that way. But hope springs eternal. But let me get back to something you mentioned about the declining prices and whether tapping the reserve has brought these prices down. Maybe it's as simple as people themselves are tapped out. And maybe the slowdown is showing up in demand, and people are not going to the gas station as much, not buying as much food or as expensive food, and it is showing up. And the solution for this might be a recession. What do you say?
2 points. First of all, if you look at the amount of economic activity in this economy, including in transportation, so whether it's people flying off to take vacations to the extent where they've had to shut down certain parts of European airports because there's so much air travel,
right,
or if it's the amount of miles that people are driving, we just don't see very much demand destruction. Now,
you don't see this maybe potentially as a final hurrah for consumers who, after they were locked in their homes for a year and a half, they just want out, and they're paying for that. But after that, it's all over. I mean, and then we could have something really worse. What do you say?
So here's kind of the argument you and I are having right now. Is the car slowing down or is the car stopping? You know, I'm in the slow down camp. You're worried about the stop camp. The president has talked about the importance of growth decelerating from the breakneck pace of 2021, the V-shaped recovery that helped bring us probably the most welcoming labor market I've seen in my long professional career, to a more steady and stable growth rate. So at this point, people are definitely benefiting from that 40-cent decline at the pump. They're still driving a lot, but gas prices, along with all these other categories, are still unacceptably elevated, and that's why we need more policy. Now, I'm not implying that the strategic reserve release is the only reason why the gas prices come down, but it is in the mix. Increasing the supply has made a difference.
Do you guys ever, and you're a great student of political and economic history, do you guys ever start feeling like it's Jimmy Carter deja vu, and that's where we're headed?
I think the difference there is between the kind of stagflation they were facing and the very different, in many ways more nuanced economy we're facing. You know, you like to focus on the headwinds, and I get it. If it bleeds, it leads. I understand that.
No, I focus on reality, Jared. I focus on the numbers. I have no political agenda here. I just look at the data, and the data doesn't look encouraging, right?
Well, that's because you're choosing which data to exclusively look at here.
I think I gave you 11 pieces of data.
So look, the headline and the core inflation are, to quote the president, unacceptably high. Okay. So that is absolutely a relevant data point for you to bring to the table as you have. But let's not forget about the backdrop of the strongest labor market we've seen. You know, a couple of days ago, we were out here talking about a job market that delivered 372,000 jobs in June. Millions of jobs since this president got here, with vacancies, with strong nominal wage growth, with unemployment.
So the labor market is back to what it was before COVID hit in the prior administration. It's kind of right back to that, right?
I think that the unemployment rate is just about back where it was, and this is an incredibly important backdrop. Okay. So let's not just talk about headwinds, let's talk about tailwinds too.
Got it. We'll focus on both. Jared Bernstein, always a pleasure, the White House economic advisor at the White House.
Man, there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Things getting a little bit heated there with White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein and the Fox interviewer. And let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with the interviewer? Do you agree with the White House economic advisor? Do you think that things are going in the wrong direction and that the White House is just trying to cover things up and make it seem better than it is as we approach these elections? Or do you think that, no, things are improving, we're on the right track, and we've hit the peak of this inflation, it's being addressed, and things are subsiding, the prices are coming down, and they're going to get better? Let me know your thoughts, you guys, but whatever unfolds, I will keep you up to date here on the channel. And as he mentioned, they're working away on providing more provisions, more stimulus. We're hearing about stimulus packages being worked on right now. There are stimulus check proposals on the table to deal with in inflation, with a recession, with inflation, with gas prices. We're going to see what unfolds. I'll keep you up to date every step of the way so that way you know what's going on. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash the like button if you appreciate the updates, leave your comments, share this out. If you'd like to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not come join the Ram fam? All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining that second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. And keep an eye out for that comprehensive list of all checks so you don't miss out on anything. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.